Host connection detected.
Oh, thanks so much, Isaiah. Well, welcome back into Chair League. We have, well, the final match I'm casting tonight, a best of 3 between Better Than Yesterday and Team Happy Cloud. I believe, if I am not mistaken, Team Happy Cloud is on our right-hand side. Excuse me. So, we're going to have the Genji band right out of the gate. I'm having some visual issues, so if people in chat don't mind putting in a couple, just letting me know if everything is going good, that'd be great. Thank you. And also, thanks again to Isaiah for hosting me. All right, so we have the Genji band here on Dragonshire. What would Better Than Yesterday be looking to ban out here? Because at this point, the Stukov is open, and Stukov is pretty powerful. I would be a little worried if I was going up against a Stukov. So banning it out is pretty strong, but at the same time, if you avoid it, then you can potentially give yourself the Uther or the Stukov. So if you're looking to go ahead and just lock down that first level healer, or that first pick healer, that's definitely a way to go. So the Dahak is going to be banned out for the global. He's actually extremely strong on this map. That's one thing that I think I should note. He excels so well at maneuvering around the map and just getting the soak and the push that he really needs. So first pick, I'm assuming on the side of Team Happy Cloud. I mean, why not? Why not go for it? It's a really strong choice. Huh. He has only been out for like 2 days though, so people don't have him down perfectly. But in the last couple streams we've seen, he is something to be feared. Stitches is going to be picked up here on the side of Team Happy Cloud. It's a good, solid first pick. I mean, Stitches is in a really good place, so you can really definitely take him down any road, really. For Better Than Yesterday, though, they have this first pick, these first 2 picks, so... I wonder what you want to combo this into. The Anubarak in the Uther has been the typical double pickup, but there's the Stukov and the Greymane actually being picked up for Better Than Yesterday. That is a strong out-the-gate combination. So in response to that, they're going to want to go ahead and get their healer and maybe a ranged assassin. I'm curious as to how Zeratul works against Stukov. If Stukov does too much, can Zeratul get in there and actually burst him down before he gets like 2 auto attacks and the bus just takes his face off? Because Stukov, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on this, but the last time I was testing on the PTR at 20, like untalented, I think I was doing like 500 damage in auto attack. Tassadar Vala is going to be picked up here. Really good combination. It's a solid choice of just being able to run those 2 together and just heal her constantly, as well as provide the utility from the Force Wall or even Archon. Ariel will be banned out here, and the reason that is because she is extremely good at these shrines, because there are a lot of tight-knit walls that you can whip people against, so you can lock them down, and then combo that with some hooks and some force walls that we'll probably be seeing. Like, that's definitely something that you don't want to deal with. The second thing, and probably actually I should have said first, Vala combos well into the Ariel, so you can have your Vala rotate lanes, and the Ariel can be in mid with Stitches, then you've got your solo laner top. And then Vala can just be rotating between like top and bottom or something, where you'd have your Tassadar. And also just to note on the side here, Tassadar is actually a really good pickup because of the fact that he does have the phase shift, so he can jump in the drag and actually use that phase shift afterwards to get out. Zeratul is going to be banned out here, which on the side of Team Happy Club, but I wonder if they're going to go Vikings then? Because with the Tassadar, you really wouldn't worry too much about the Zeratul. So I feel like the Team Happy Clad might be showing their hand here, but there are no more bans on the side of better than yesterday. So I wonder if you would just end up going into the Anubarak. And maybe you're going to need like a ranged assassin. Like a Lunara wouldn't be too bad here, in my opinion. A Sonya for a solo laning and Diablo as a tank. You know what? I should have actually thought about the fact that they need a tank. And another solo laner with Sonya is actually really, really good at pickup here for better than yesterday. Change that skin back, Sonya. You know the other one was better. The last two picks here, though, for Team Happy Cloud, the Zeratul ban makes me think that they're going to either go Abathur, so they'd maybe like pick up a... No, because they can't run solo Tassadar. I was going to say, do they then just maybe pick up the Illidan Abathur? The other thing that I'm also thinking that they banned that out is because maybe they were going Vikings. I'm just trying to think of like the hard counters that Zeratul provides. Arthas will be picked up here, and Uther. So I think they just wanted to get rid of the VP in this situation. And it's funny to see like how Stukov came out and he's like #1, and we're literally seeing Uther being like second to last in draft. That's just insane to me.
New follower detected.
Well, thank you so much. And Medivh, oh my god. Medivh is picked up on the side of better than yesterday. Huh. Okay. I will see this at the last second, so I will correct myself, but I believe I have the teams correct. Usually they line up with whatever color is on the Chair League site. Alright, and let's see if I can peek at one of the names. Okay, yeah, I was right. Okay. Master Fish is... Okay, cool. Alrighty, and here we go into our first game between Better Than Yesterday on the left with Marin on Sonya, Vilson on Greymane, Masterfish on Medivh, Ark on Stukov, Zombie Chris on Diablo. That is Better Than Yesterday. On the right-hand side, we have Ferret on Arthas, Nightcaster on Tassadar, Lumpty Dumpty on Vala, Discerning on Uther, and R275 Delta on Stitches. That is, with great portrait synergy, Team Happy Cloud. Right, as we go into the game right here, let's take a peek at some of these first level talents. Greymane is going to be going into his Gilneas Cocktail build. It's going to provide a very good poking at these shrines, as well as when someone is trying to get into the Dragonite. Vala is going to her Hungering Arrow build. She will be in a lot of team fights. Building that up will be extremely powerful for her towards the later game. Tassadar going into his Templar's Will, I believe is the name? Yes. 5, 4, and that's going to just, his damage over time... His damage will scale very well over time. And I guess another thing to note, Sonya will be taking War Paint. Okay. So, just some positioning here. Medivh is scouting out exactly where the enemy team is kind of trying to posture, definitely trying to get away from the Birdman, but it does not look like it's going to be working out too well. The silence is out from the Stukov. We have some damage coming out onto the Diablo. There is a flip onto the Arthas, who will actually be saved by the hook from Stitches. There is a portal onto Diablo, so the... Oh, that was perfect. They juked them over the lane with the silence, so when they tried to chase down Diablo, it didn't work out for them because of the fact that they just had to walk through that silence. The hook goes out. It does not connect on the Medivh, who probably had a portal to walk out of that, but you never know. There's always stun follow-up with that Uther, which I honestly should have been like, of course, they have Vala. Why wouldn't you take Uther into that? It's not been picked up or banned. Like, the stun you get from Rain of Vengeance, the stun you get from Uther into the hook, I mean... Man, this game, it's getting to the point in this game where it's just like, I don't want to just rely on just meta heroes, but it's becoming like, there are some ones that are just like highly contested heroes like, you know, Medivh, not Medivh, excuse me, Stukov and your Uther, Arthas and Stitches, but there's just like some things that throw you off. Like if you first pick an Uther and then you get down to your Tassadar, like, you could, sometimes they run weird shit. So we are going to see the bottom channel for Team Happy Cloud, and Better Than Yesterday will be holding top. In mid, we are going to have the Stukov Diablo soaking up the experience as best as they can. Greymane will be soloing bottom with the Medivh scouting out. While they were doing some of these rotations, let's just take a peek at some of these talents early game. Medivh getting locked down here, actually, but he will be able to get out. Looks like we're about halfway through, almost, with Tassadar. Halfway through with Uther, and a little bit of the way through with Arthas. But we are going to have another rotation from Better Than Yesterday, and there is a huge body block onto this Uther, and Discerning, ooh, he actually gets flipped and saved by the Diablo there. Maybe it just a last second, just maybe the flip they thought was just going to be the thing to kill him or stun him out for the follow-up damage. But at this point, Uther will be able to live, and the bottom shrine will stay over to Team Happy Cloud. Without that pick, I don't think they can really invade onto this too well. Oh, excuse me, I'm being corrected. The 24th Sun. I am very sorry. Now that I'm actually seeing that name, like it pops right through to me. I'm like, oh, of course it's that. Thank you, Twitch chat. Arthas is actually being completely collapsed upon here. He does get the root on Stukov and Diablo, but the Greymane will be chunking him down. And with that is going to be the bottom altar definitely being capped for Better Than Yesterday. With Medivh in mid, it looks like he will be... Okay, he's just going to be going through the portal? Okay. Looks like they are going to be trying to collapse onto the Stitches. There is the channel for Better Than Yesterday at this point, but there is no one in mid to capitalize on that. There actually is the Uther in bottom, getting chased back behind his gate, and they're just pushing them back at this point. With the Stitches and the Vala currently laning up a little bit far, they could get rotated on here. It looks like Stukov will scout this out with his zone. It's actually going to zone away the enemy team, which is extremely strong for them, but without any follow-up damage from that Greymane, who is just rotating in for a flank. They are going to get the capture on bottom, so that will stop the mid-channel. Fun fact, you can, if you are channeling dragon, someone's channeling an altar, you will channel the dragon before they can channel the altar. So if you're ever in a race, just trust yourself. You got it. Uther is getting chased down here by the Greymane. Let's see if we can get everyone in the picture here. Greymane should get the pick onto him. That is how peeling works, though. He will actually not confirm that. He's going to come back to his team and try and get into this fight against the Stitches. They're also going to go ahead and cap this point. Nope. They're just going to get the silence from the Stukov. Alright, and in top, just checking into this laning matchup here. Tassadar is doing pretty well. Sonya is a very good target for him to just stand there and laser. But at the same time, she does push him back towards the gate. And at this point, with the Stitches hook burned... Excuse me, I'm so sorry. That Uther finally died. I was trying to see if Medivh would be able to capture that. But Uther will be falling here. And with the Stitches up here, I don't think Medivh's going to be able to cap this without getting at least another kill and forcing a rotation out of the Stitches. And that looked like it might be a thing, because Greymane and Stukov and Diablo have pinned this Arthas down, and they keep the Vala out with the zoning silence. And with that, Stitches is definitely going to be... Oh, he's still going to be poking. Okay, so they didn't force a rotation out. So it looks like actually Greymane is going to be coming up with the Stukov. They could go for a gank here, but it looks... No, it looks like they're just going to force him back with that zoning of the silence. They're not actually going to go ahead and collect this. I'm wondering if they're going to try and maybe just force another pick onto the enemy team, or if they were just going up there just to lane for 10. So Stukov will be capturing this at this point. They do get this Stitches pushed back behind the gate. And it looks like Sonya will be staying in top lane, so that forces the Tassadar to stay up there with her. Otherwise, it's just, you know, free push, and you don't want that. But I love what Better Than Yesterday is doing right now, because of the fact that they left the Sonya in top because she's a strong solo laner. They said the dragon, it's a 6-minute dragon, 5-minute dragon. It's not going to do a whole lot, maybe a gate, But let's just sit our team in bottom and in top and just soak all the lanes and just start to get this huge experience gap. And that's exactly what's happening. They have 3-man in bottom. Stitches cannot contest this. He can poke and do some damage. Arthas is here now. They might be able to follow up. There is a hook, but Diablo uses the Arthas as a way of getting out. And they're going to weaken down this fort to about a third of its health. Maybe an eighth. But with that also, excuse me, the cursed bullet already coming out, not realizing that Tens are already here, there's a huge apocalypse onto the enemy team. There is not enough follow-up damage because Greymane had taken too much himself, so he really needs to go through that portal, save himself, and get out safely. There is a pull onto the Diablo. The Leyline Seal saves him for a second, but he does have so he'll be right back up. Pierce Stukov disengaged from this without a problem. And the one thing that they definitely benefited from this push is they got rid of the lane sustain in bottom as well as mid. And so this creates a really, really big pressure onto the enemy team of Team Happy Cloud for Better Than Yesterday. Because of the fact that they don't have these wells to go back to, they don't have these gates to hide behind, it really will become difficult for them to retreat. Because you saw in the beginning of the game, Uther got away twice because he could get to his gate, get in cannon shot range. There we go. And that gave him the ability so that he could get behind the gate, get health, and go back and engage. But now that they don't have that, this is going to be an issue where chasing these heroes down will become an option for Better Than Yesterday, and they can definitely confirm a couple more kills and really start to snowball this in their favor. They have a lot of good pressure currently going. As long as they can keep this up, this is looking like it's going to be a very, very controlled game. But at the same time, Team Happy Cloud, they're starting to push their waves back. They're closing that level, difference that they're having. They're almost on they're on the same talent tier. But 13 will be right around the corner, and there it already is. And while these camps are being picked up, let's take a quick peek while people rotate for their lanes at some of these talents and how they've come along. Medivh's Master Touch is about 17 of the 35? 30, excuse me. So he's just about over half. Stukov is halfway through his 4 talent. Vala's just over half of hers, and everyone else looks like they've been completing theirs. But we are having a dive onto this Vala in the backline. There is the Divine Shield onto her, and the Sendra Gosub. She walks away with a Splinter of Health. Can Greymane turn around and get the counter kill? She will be vaulting just to get that extra damage out, and that will confirm the kill onto Diablo. Arthas is extremely low here, but the portal has to be used by Better Than Yesterday to get out of that team fight. The hook does come out, and Medivh turns into a bird at the last second. The bottom altar will be channeled. Oh, that Greymane was so close. They will not be able to get this because the Stitches is here in mid defending against the capping of the point. Vala will be pushing this back, but it looks like they should be fine on their gate as well. Let's take a peek at some of these numbers really quick. Medivh working back this portal over here in bottom with the Greymane coming in. The Curse Bolt does go out, but it misses because of that dimensional shift. So we do have this captured right here. We do see the stun onto the Greymane. He does get his last Gil Nance the Cocktail out for his 13, not his 13, excuse me, his 7 talent quest. 7? Yes. Alright, and Sonya will be back in this top lane, pushing it back. She does get hooked. There is the Gorge under the Frost from, excuse me, Arthas is actually anti-synergy, saves her because he doesn't have her. The portal is there. She goes right through, and that is going to be a Sonya save. Now, the response from Team Happy Cloud is here. They definitely have the 5-man fight. This is the talent tier they want to take it on, so let's see. Here we go. The Curse Bullet is out. There is the Diablo charge onto that Uther, who does have the Divine Shield himself. There is the push onto the Stitches, who is way far away. He has to mount and come back, and that means that the actual Medivh will die, and so will Diablo, but also Uther is falling himself. Tassadar does use his Archon, and it's actually slowing and doing so much damage. The Greymane actually dives through the wall, and he will be falling here to the Vala, and this is going to be a Dragon Knight coming over to the side of Team Happy Cloud. I do believe that they can make these rotations quick enough before Medivh is up. Stukov can poke a little bit, but he wants to be safe because that Stitches will be there to get that hook and potentially ruin his day. right. Whew. So Tassadar will actually be taking this. This is what we talked about in draft. Tassadar taking this is actually extremely smart because of the fact that you're not losing a healer. You just, you're losing shields. So if you just play around the dragon, you'll be safe. As well as if you do get in a bad... That was a great leyline seal. If you do get in a situation where you're in the Dragon Knight and you're too far away from your team, you have the Dimensional Shift to get out. There was the overpower from Diablo onto that Stitches, which actually flipped him over the gate and they collapse upon him. Stukov pushes the Vala out. And it looks like, at this point, Better Than Yesterday is really pushing back against this Dragon Knight, and they're starting to take very, very heavy control over this Dragon Knight phase, which is extremely surprising. They killed the Stitches, which creates this situation where they have a tanky dragon, but they don't want to push him too far to risk another fight, so that's definitely something they want to worry about here. So they're just playing safe, they're just keeping them from being aggressive. The 5-man is staying close together. And at this point, it looks like Better Than Yesterday has kind of saved themselves on this push. They lost the gate. They are on still even talent here, so this is still anybody's game, but the Diablo comes in on the Uther to stun him and just gets kicked so far away. There will be a DC, so we're going to go to a quick break. Right, excuse me, and we are back into the game. Looks like it was just a tactical disconnection. Medivh is back into the game, so here we are. So at this point, what a lot of the teams are going to want to do, they're going to want to rotate, push back their lanes as best they can and wait for this next Dragonite phase. So in the meantime, while we see a lot of these rotations, they're going to be very safe. We'll keep an eye out for some picks, but at this point, the teams are going to be running very close together. Medivh is going to go ahead and scout out the enemy team so they can see where they are and what they're doing to at least counteract some of the push, maybe some of the rotations. Some of these talents really quick. And actually, we're going to have the life funnel from Sonya at 16. I'm curious, did she actually take... We're actually going to see... There is an invade here. I do not want to miss this. This is a huge... leyline seal from the Medivh, and it actually connects, and then there is the Apocalypse right underneath that, but then the Cursed Bullet comes out as well as the Sendragosa. The Arthas is getting really low here. There is the Hook and Gorge onto the Sonya. The Stitches actually moves into the team, and Diablo gets the overpower, maybe even a... okay, I was wondering if he was going to Shadow Charge him to get the Sonya even further back into the team. But this is just going to be a clean disengage. A lot of the ultimates were used from both teams. Stukov still has his giant arm, and looks like, ooh, we are going to have a collapse upon this Tassadar, who's just a little too far forward, but there is a hook onto the Stukov, who will be able to take the portal from Medivh. Actually, everyone will be making out alive here, but this is a camp that could be contested. It looks like it's not going to be. I need to just turn off that one level of zoom somehow. Or at least program my keys a little bit better. There's going to be a hook onto the Medivh. The Cursed Bullet does come out. We're having so many people getting melted here, but Stukov will be pushing back the Stitches to zone, to push a lot of the, a lot of the back line then becomes the front line, so you can start to melt them a little bit here, but ooh, that hook was so close. But a lot of the members of Team Happy Cloud are getting a little low here. The shielding from Tassadar and the healing from Uther should be able to get them back up. But the zoning is working out really well, and I'm realizing now that that's happening because of the fact that Sonya was in top, pushing back that lane a little bit. The Gorge actually onto the Diablo. There is no gate to go behind Diablo. Okay, he just Shadow Charges and goes right through the... Oh, he went through the... Okay, he's back through the portal. We're good. That was a huge leyline seal. Do we have an Apocalypse to combo with? It actually was not used, but the push onto the Stitches. Man, this guy is sniping with these long arms. Let me actually use the correct term. Massive shove. Long arm actually kind of sounds cooler. All right, so we are going to be seeing the Uther is going to have to put the Divine Shield on himself. The Apocalypse does come out. It is going to connect on 1 or 2 members here, but there is the pushback. The push from Stukov pushes the Stitches out of position. And at this point, we are actually going to be having the Diablo fall. He does have Soul, so he'll be right back up. There's a lot of members low on the side of Team Happy Cloud. The Div is going to be trying to get in here a little bit. He does have his Master's Touch finished, by the way, so he is doing a little bit more damage with each of those just little Qs that he throws out. So this bottom will be captured, and this is going to be Sonya jumping in the dragon. And the nice thing that I want to note here is that when... Oh, that zoning is just wonderful. He actually goes through the gate, too. I just noticed that he hit the keep and stopped. Sonya got that hard camp on her rotation down, and that was extremely critical because what it did was it gave them so much push power in top that the entire time that this Dragonite is up, they're going to want to try and burn it down as quick as possible so they can rotate the top. So bottom is going to get ignored, which means that in bottom we are going to probably be seeing the keep gate falling. The dragon will die off. Sonya does have spin. She could get hooked here. Oh, yeah, she's going to be falling. But at the same time, this does confirm the 4. Actually, no, that was a little bit of a suicide. Because they didn't really get much out of that gate, and I feel like if they pushed with the dragon, they would have gotten a little bit more. They did confirm the top 4, which is extremely beneficial for them. So the macro game on the side of Better Than Yesterday is going very well. But at the same time, we are approaching 20 for Team Happy Cloud. And with this 20 advantage, I'm curious to see if they are going to be capitalizing on the talent tier so that way they can maybe start to snowball this back in their favor. Because at this point, they're starting to get close to, push into a lot of these towers and these gates. Now we are going to see the redemption from Uther, the... oh, come on. The Hardened Shield? Hardened Shield from the Stitches, the Quiver from Vala, the Forever Archon from Tassadar, and the Enhanced Sendragosa from Orphis. Meanwhile, they're gonna have to go ahead and concede this fort right now due to the fact that they cannot. This is a huge leyline seal. The Apocalypse is underneath it. They get 3 members stunned in here. There is the engagement. The Archon is out. There is the Greymane who is diving into them. The silence is there from the Stukov. Diablo does not have soul, so he is down for 59 seconds. This is the late game death timer. Sonya is so low, she pops her ignore Nerves of Steel, but it does not work for her. The Stitches hook almost connects into the Greymane. This is going to be Armadillo falling as well. And with that, huge Sendragosa team. The Stukov gets the push onto the Arthas. It's so entertaining to watch that. I love it so much. And with the shrines being activated here, they're going to say, you know what? We'll get the dragon and then come push. So at this point, look to see that this is when Team Happy Cloud are definitely going to be trying to excel this map in their favor. They're really going to start getting hyper active with their pushing. They're going to try and capitalize on this 19 seconds that they have. They already straight into the dragon with Nightcaster. So with that, they are going to go ahead and, just from the Dragon's Breath, we're already seeing 3 hits and we are losing. Ooh, that Stitches hook onto that Greymane would have been deadly onto the sun, the 24th sun. The actual Stukov Massive Shove misses. The kick is there, so it zones him away for a little bit. They're going to definitely confirm this keep with the dragon having 87% health left. Looks like they're going to go ahead. The Apocalypse does come out. It does not connect onto any members. The hook is there from the Stitches. He is extremely low. Medivh is kind of whittling him down a little bit here, but there is the healing from the Uther that definitely helps them. Diablo takes the portal. There is the Gorge from the Stitches. He does have the Divine Shield onto him. There is the Diablo coming out. He is able to walk away from this, and it looks like they're going to get zoned back on the side of Team Happy Cloud. They did confirm the keep. This is another pause that we're going to have really quick, so I'm just going to jump over to our Be Right Back screen. right, and back into the game we go. Looks like we were just having a small lag issue for Medivh. The Dragon Knight is going to be pushing onto this bottom fort now. Oh, looks like they're just going to take out the lane sustain. So extremely smart. They're going to use the Dragon's Breath, get rid of that lane sustain. They don't. Now it's a little bit more even. There is the tower to run to if they do get in a bad position on the side of Better Than Yesterday, but definitely something that they're going to want to... it's definitely something beneficial on the side of Team Happy Cloud to take out that well. It's it doesn't give any experience, but the most important part is you're denying your team the ability to hook onto the Sonya. She is going to get rooted. There is the follow-up stuns from Vala and the Uther, and that will confirm the kill on the Sonya. So 60 seconds, she will be out. We are at max death timers at this point, so this is the longest we're going to see someone out of the match. With that, though, this is a very inconvenient time for Sonya to be dying because top lane is getting pushed in so far. They're going to go ahead and just confirm this fort. They're going to say, screw it, we'll take a couple tower shots. Nope, the mini wave gets there perfectly in time. So, they are going to start evening up these structures, and at this point, it looks like this map is starting to shift in the favor of Team Happy Cloud. At one point, there was a very, very strong push and synergy on the side of Better Than Yesterday, but it looks like Team Happy Cloud, they've come together, they've started this 5-man rotation, and once they got their 20s, they've really started to figure out, you know, we're going to get this one pick, and then they can't fight us. And with that, though, with that camp being... Ooh, there is the portal. Are they going to be able to stop them from getting through? Yes, they are. The silence is there. The minion is only caught, though. So they're going to go ahead, and they're going to just grab this fort and just deny them that other thing that they can hide behind in the lane. Try and push their lanes up a little bit. They're definitely going to want to clear out these camps because the shrines will be starting any second. Perfect timing. I'm glad that I can control the game by just thinking about certain things on the map. Alright. So then we are going to just have this cleaned up. It's going to get a gate. This is a late game camp. We are about 22 and a half minutes through this map. So a lot of these things start to chunk very hard. And at this point, look to see a heavy prioritization over the Dragon at this point. The Dragon Knight at this point is going to deal so much damage. Looks like they're just going to portal out of there. That was extremely smart of them. They don't want to take that engage. The top was deep pushed already. It looks like Sonya will go ahead and be grabbing this with the zoning of the team. And they're definitely playing extremely safe here. They're not letting people rotate by themselves. They're saying, all right, if we're going to rotate here, we're going to rotate as a 5-man. But the issue with that, basically is that you have a top push that is going to be slowly dwindling that keep down for Better Than Yesterday. So it looks like they're going to be trying to catch them off guard in this rotation here in the Bermuda Triangle. And it looks like they're just going to be pushing their lanes back at this point, playing a little bit safe. They want to make sure that they don't have catapults on their core. Medivh will sneak down, and these rotations can't last forever, please. All right, let's check just some of these, some of these damage numbers while people are just making these rotations and pushing these lanes back a little bit here. The siege damage from Tassadar. I mean, he was in the Dragon Knight, but still, just the siege damage from the Tassadar is so intense. And then I'm pretty sure I thought I saw Sonya go in on the side of Better Than Yesterday, which means Greymane, I don't think he ever got into the Dragon Knight, and he still has done more siege damage. We're actually going to be seeing... Shh, we got to be really quiet here. There's a bush party. But it's going to get scouted out by Medivh. They see the Birdman. They say, you know what? Oh, well. The hook is there onto Diablo. There is the stun, but the Leyline Seal is there. He uses the Apocalypse. This is a 5-man Apocalypse? I don't know if it actually connected, but Sonya will be diving and spinning onto the other. So the Divine Shield does come out. There's the Curse Bullet onto the... I think it was the Arthas. And the Massive Shove comes out, but it actually ends up killing Stukov because he stands still. But there's going to be the counter kill of the Stitches and the Arthas at the same time, so this is 2 for 2. Greymane is still alive here. Vala and Tassadar and Uther are 2. Oh my god. That was so good. Just that Arthas and Stitches, their health was just so small. And the Curse Bullet hits all enemy heroes in its path and cooldown reduced. Oh my god. So that's what I was wondering what that was, because I felt like Curse Bullet came out and I felt like it came out a second time. So Medivh's going to get the counter collection, and it looks like at this point there's going to be a safe rotation, and people are just going to be playing this extremely safe, pushing up their lanes. They don't want to get into too much of an engagement. look to take a quick peek back at these numbers since we have this time during these rotations. So they gotta stop. Someone eventually will stop running as a 5-stack. Otherwise, this will be the longest game that I've ever casted. And it's only game number 1 too. We have potentially 2 more coming in after this. Excuse me, my water's empty. All right, so we are gonna have the channel on the side of Team Happy Cloud, but it's actually gonna be going away because the Greymane is going to be capturing bottom. Looks like we're gonna have an engagement here in mid. There is some aggressive posturing for it. Looks like the Birdman did already scout this out, so they do know they are going to be invading here. The Leyline Seal is out onto just the Vala. The Apocalypse is there. They are fighting in this tight corridor. The Cinder Ghost comes out onto the back line. And it looks like at this point the Divine Shield will be coming out. There is the stun from the Vala, but the Arthas and the Diablo, or excuse me, the Citrus is falling so low here. The portal is out. And we are going to have a safe disengage. And all of that amounted to just some decent pushing in some of the lanes. Sonya will be rotating down into this bottom camp. Trying to just keep this bottom lane pressure up just to force rotations out of Team Happy Cloud. And the same thing is happening in top, though. We have to keep in mind that this top is slowly dwindling. And once these cannon shots are out and Sonya does not have the time to respond, this is definitely going to be something that they're going to need to worry about down the road, especially because minions scale over time. So Medivh is already waiting. Looks like they're going to go ahead and cap this in bottom. So it looks like they actually zoned that Sonya out. I think they were going in for there, and I might have missed that because I was talking about the top lane keep. So they're going to go ahead and try and push this up as best as they can on the side of Team Happy Cloud, and at the same time, we are going to get the camp over here for Better Than Yesterday, and a lot of just safe posturing from both teams. That is one thing that I definitely want to note. They are playing extremely safe at this point because a 28 minute Dragonite is going to just destroy you. I mean, it will take out the keep. You can skip the keep and just go straight core if you're on the side of Team Happy Cloud. Better Than Yesterday, they need to do a little bit of chunking on one of the cores, but at the same time, it's whoever gets this next Dragonite. It seems a lot like they're putting a lot of pressure on that cap. I also just want to note, and I'm just noticing this after like almost 28 minutes, all of their mounts are little Happy Clouds. I love it. We're actually seeing a backdoor from Better Than Yesterday onto this keep, and this is going to be forcing a rotation from Team Happy Troops. Are they going to be trying to just rush? Yeah, they're going to... Okay. So they're going to go ahead. They show in mid. So what do they do? So they all start to Hearth right away. Okay. This is... Alright, so we have a core rush. We have a core rush. The backdoor was countered with a backdoor. The Leyline Seal is out. It does connect onto the Tassadar, but there is the core falling 41%. The Apocalypse is out, getting a couple members stunned. A couple of them are falling. The silence is there. 11, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1%, and that will be the first game going over to Team Happy Cloud. Whew. Alrighty, and welcome back. We are in our second match of the evening in this best of 3 of Better Than Yesterday versus Team Happy Cloud. Looks like we will be going into Battlefield of Eternity here. So a lot of the focus of that I've seen is on the Malthael, Greymane, Vala. Like, those are one of the key components that you're going to want in your comp at this point. I was seeing in chat that they were saying, oh, we're gonna go ahead and just ban out that Uther because they do not want to deal with that once again. And I don't blame them. That Uther was so difficult to deal with. He escaped so many deaths. I mean, he did get killed a couple times, yes. But he definitely did get so much healing done. My cord got wrapped around my chair for a second there. All right, so the Vala they're looking like they're going to go ahead and ban out the Vala here, which is extremely strong, because this is what I was talking about with those three assassins really do a good job of burning down the Immortal. It's considered, from what I've understood, that Greymane is probably all around the better Immortal burner, but from what I'm seeing just in play, and I haven't tested it myself or experienced it, I believe Malthael does a really good job burning down the Immortals. And then let's not also forget the beautiful galloping princess of Lunara, who can just poison damage the Immortal as well. So there's a lot of options here for specific things to pick up that can definitely burn it down, because the objective on this map is extremely strong, and if you can get it to start snowballing in your favor, that's obviously, snowballing. It's good. You want that to start happening for your team so you can slowly just build that momentum, get in, and just start really just kind of picking them apart and, ending the game, obviously. So Genji ban here by Team Happy Cloud. Looks like they don't want to deal with the reflect that you can get from him, as well as how sticky he is. He just, if he gets on a hero, he just sits there and just constantly deals damage. And it's just so hard to get away from him. So first pick on the side of Better Than Yesterday. I'm curious to see what they're going to be going with here. They can pick up the Uther, or they can pick up the Stukov, because those seem like they're the top. I mean, they did pick up Stitches last time for their first pick, so I don't think they're going to be going into that. The Stitches, wait, do I have that right? No, Team Happy Cloud picked up the Stitches first last time. So Uther's actually going to be picked up here first. Stukov and Greymane were picked up first on the side of Better Than Yesterday last match. So I'm wondering if they're going to go ahead and just pick up that Stitches again and maybe the Greymane into that, because that's a pretty good combination. And then maybe see like a Stitches into Greymane, and then maybe with a Malfurion. And then you could do Malthael too if you wanted. I don't know. It seems the percentile damage that Malthael does to the Immortal is extremely strong. So we're actually going to get... Alright, so I got one right. And I always forget. Artanis is actually, people use him on this map because of the blinds. I do believe that's the reason. Someone please correct me in chat, but I would think that that'd be the main reason, as well as the displacement that he can provide, and the... his Bruiser build is quite strong, too. Going into the pick for Better Than Yesterday before we go into our second ban phase here, they're going to want to look at maybe getting something to burn down the Immortal. So that Malthael is pretty good. Or they could go into the Lunara as also... I'm just also pondering late game assassins. If they go into Malthael, you can take the Lunara. That's double poison. That's that's double trouble. But you can... Okay, so Stitches will be picked up here into the Li Ming, which is extremely strong. The poke damage that you get from the Li Ming and the resets that you can provide around these Immortal fights are something you can capitalize on extremely fast. And once you get those resets, once you get that one reset, it can turn into just a massacre of just bodies getting just wrecked everywhere. Because the orbs, the beams, the missiles, just the reset after reset, the teleport forward and stomp on you and get a basic attack. So Li Ming, super strong here, but they really need someone to still just burn down that Immortal. So I'm wondering if Team Happy Cloud is going to try and ban something out that they can utilize against that Immortal. So they're, you're gonna want to. All right, so they have a healer and they have a tank. And they have a ranged assassin. There's the Lunara. So they don't have someone to go up against the Immortal. They also don't have a melee assassin, and I think that they definitely need one. Alarak is an option here. He's a strong solo laner. Sonya's still open. The Anub'arak is going to be banned out here against Team Happy Cloud by Better Than Yesterday, and that is because Artanis can't really, he's not that great of a solo tank, and Anub'arak's open, and he's got Nubarian armor, which is extremely strong against the Li Ming. It counteracts her completely, so she just kind of gets mitigated in damage as long as he's bodying. And Tyrael and Brightwing, please change that skin, thank you. Oh, Monkey Wing, no, it's just from hell. That's just a... That's the one thing that I would petition Blizzard to change, is just how creepy that is. That's too creepy. All right, and into the last two picks. So they're going to be wanting to look at something to burn down the Immortal. They already got rid of the Lunara. And that was extremely smart on the side of Team Happy Cloud because of the fact that now... Who do you really go into? Do you... Some people have done Zul'jin, but I really don't think he works, especially against the Brightwing. You know, you wait till he gets that last little bit of health, polymorph, no toss dingo, go to bed. So... They just need something, unless they want to focus and synergize around the team fight.
The wait is over.
Okay. So there's Dahaka here on this map. He doesn't, you know, the Brushstalker, even on a small map like this, Brushstalker is extremely strong because of the fact that you can burrow in behind an enemy player and get the tongue and pull them out of position. And in a team fight, that's so critical that if you can lock down, you know, that Brightwing from the team and just pull her away, that's definitely something that you want to be able to do to peel that healer away and just open up for so much damage. So Tyrael, Greymane, Artanis, Brightwing. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Tassadar here. Ooh! Okay, so they're going to go solo healer Brightwing. I just don't know if... I worry about Brightwing's healing speed. I'm not a support player. It's just I don't know if Brightwing has enough to keep that team alive against what there is. Because the blinds are going to go straight into Greymane. That's 100%. Stitches is probably going to be hooking the Brightwing Kael'thas. And the Dahaka, I guess lowering the armor is going to be extremely useful at 13. So on the left-hand side, we have... Let me double check this. I gotta check names really quick, because some people juke me. Okay, on the left-hand side, we are going to have Moran on Dahaka, the 24th Sun on Li Ming, Zombie Chris on Stitches, Masterfish on Cassia, and Arik on Uther. That is better than yesterday. And on the right-hand side, we have Lumpty Dumpty on Artanis, Discerning on Brightwing, Artruth Delta on Tyrael, Ferret on Greymane, and I missed Kael'thas, I'm so sorry. Nightcaster on Kael'thas. That is Team Happy Cloud. And just one thing I want to note really quick, Team Happy Cloud, they all ride Happy Clouds, except for Brightwing. Poor Brightwing! But at the same time, like, Monkey Brightwing can just be removed from the game. I'm okay with that. We are going to see convection stacks from Kael'thas, so look to see his team really, really play safe around him. And also look to see his damage just skyrocket once he gets those 20.
Let the battle begin.
Okay, and we are going to have the Tyrael going up into top lane. In bottom, we are just going to be having just a small stalemate. Nothing really happening here. Waiting for the minion wave, playing it safe. Okay. Alrighty, excuse me. So here we go into our second game. Looks like we're just going to have Dahaka versus Tyrael on top, so it's going to be a pretty good laning matchup. In bottom, though, we are going to see them just kind of waiting for the 145 mark so that they can position for the next Immortal race. The hook is out onto the Greymane, but there is no follow-up damage. There is no stun, unfortunately, for better than yesterday. It looks like they're just going to be doing some spins. I just have to also point out the wave from the surfboard really gets weird at that point when you do that. That's quite amazing, actually. In top, we're actually going to have Dahaka pushing in quite a bit against that Tyrael, but he should not have any trouble getting the zoning back into mid once he gets in that wave. Alrighty, and the hook is out onto the Greymane. There is the stun. There is the Polymorph Brightwing, but it will not be enough to confirm the kill.
From this land, demon.
So we're going to be seeing Better Than Yesterday rotating to their Immortal to play safe here. Team Happy Cloud coming in as well. They are going to be hooking the Kael'thas, trying to make sure that they get those kills onto him so he does not get his stacks of convection, but there is a lot of team fighting underneath this blue Immortal. Better Than Yesterday's Immortal is... That's the best part about this. If you fight under the Immortal, you can weaken the enemy team, and at this point it looks like they're going to be sending their Li Ming to go whittle down the enemy Immortal. Better Than Yesterday, or excuse me, Team Happy Cloud will be going ahead grabbing their well. Just really quickly wanted to check their... KT only has one convection stack. But we are actually just, let's take a peek here in this fight. I was going to try and get both. Artanis is a little deep. He does get the swap out onto Masterfish. Cassia is trying to get away here. The team is starting to split up a little bit. Dahaka is getting onto Lumpty Dumpty. But we will see... Oh my god, Kael'thas barely just doesn't kill the Cassia with that... Oops. With the Flame Strike there. Or the Chain Bomb. And at this point, it is on the aggressive side, so they're going to want to either posture up and defend or... try and just burn down these shields, but it looks like at this point they're going to go ahead and just try and poke down some damage, and it's going to be melted, and this first Immortal is going to be going over to Team Happy Cloud. Dahaka will be burrowing here. He's going to be soaking that bottom lane while his team defends top. Especially just using that burrow so he can soak it until literally the Immortal is there. Meanwhile, his team is already positioned and he is already back in bottom pushing. So really utilizing that global is extremely strong. Gets a tongue onto the Tyrael. It's not going to be able to do much here. The Immortal here isn't being pushed with too hard. He's going to maybe get that second tower. But they do get the gate at least. So they open up this map a little bit for Team Happy Face to chase and kind of push in these waves a little bit. In bottom, they said, you know what, Dahaka, you're not going to get much utility. We're going to keep our Greymane down there too, and he's just going to kind of push up against you. So we are going to be having a rotation into this top camp from Better Than Yesterday. And while people are rotating around, I did not take a peek at the timer. So I think it's going to be around like 5:45 in the game time when we should be seeing the next Immortal. Let's take a look at some of these talents and quests. KT's almost a quarter of the way through. He's playing extremely safe, making sure that he gets a couple here and there. That should be at least 2 right there. Uther is working his way through, and did we actually get the enhanced agility from Dahaka? Okay, cool. So we have NASCAR Dahaka, who will be rotating extremely quickly through those bushes. This is a very strong push on top from Better Than Yesterday, but it is being responded to by Team Happy Cloud, and they just still have their Dahaka in bottom. He does probably have Brush Tucker by now. There is the hook onto the Brightwing. There is the fend from the Cassia. There's the swap onto the Cassia, and she is going to be falling here. And just the lockdown that they have from Team Happy Cloud is just scary. They're doing, it seems like it's another version of what they did last game with that cursed bullet into Leap, with the silence from the Stukov and the hook from Stitches. It seems like they have kind of a swap into Whirlwind with the Flame Strike and the KT combo, and it's just Gilnea's Cocktail with the Greymane dive, so they definitely know how to burst one hero down. And what that does for them is it gives them the opportunity that they can say, you know what, it's 4v5. Anytime you engage us, you could be potentially going into a 2v3. So, you know, they have to play back in their lanes. Dahaka will be rotating around, trying to make sure that he de-pushes this top lane push here. And it looks like at this point we are going to have a race between the two teams. So this is going to be the swap. It is going to stay on the safe side for both teams, so we are going to see a rotation into bottom lane. They're going to clean this up before they go ahead and try and get on to this Immortal from Better Than Yesterday's Immortal. And it looks like they're going to be bushing up right here. Tyrael does throw in his Eldrains. He has the Eldrains Might. He jumps right in. There is the swap from the Artanis. Greymane does dive in. He starts to deal a heck of a lot of damage, but he is starting to fall. He does have the swipe to get out. Tyrael is getting extremely low here. He does have his... The KT gets pulled in. There is not enough follow-up damage. Greymane will have to Hearth here to get full so that he can come back in and burst this down. But at this point, we are going to see Dahaka coming in. He will be able to use his Dark Swarm to just deal a little bit of damage, push everyone back a little bit here, and it looks like everyone's just going to be kind of playing safe. Just wanted to note that if KT died there, he would have lost about 15 convection stacks, and that is going to be something that is hard to work back. I was proven earlier, I made a statement about it, you know, once you lose them, it's so hard to get back, and I was proven wrong so quickly. The hook does come out onto the Tyrael, but it does not confirm a kill. There is a whirlwind onto the Uther, which doesn't have any follow-up. It just locks him down for a couple seconds, forces the team to play extremely safe. Tyrael will be dying here. He does have his death ability, which will cause just a little bit of damage to go up, but Arthas and also Brightwing will be falling here too. And this is going to be Kael'thas. He is going to finish his stacks, though, before he dies. That was perfect. That was absolutely perfect how he did that, just to wait at the last second and just take them out like that. It was absolutely perfect from them. Or from the KT.
The demon approaches the gates of heaven.
Excuse me. All right. So with this Immortal, it is just losing a shield, so it's going to be coming into melee range at this point. Dahaka has been pushing in top, so they haven't had any free push from the minion wave up there. So Dahaka has actually soaked, the side soaking that he's been doing has gotten them to 10, so definitely look for Team Happy Club to be playing extremely safe here. They're going to try and play passive. There could be a hook onto the Greymane. There is the Gorge. Oh no, Greymane, buddy. I don't think he has a disengage. And he will be getting an orb right to the face. So we are going to have Dahaka just pushing this top back a little bit. Tyrael is going to be doing the same. They're just laning to mid and letting the wave kind of just, you know, get to their gate and just de-pushing it that way. And everyone's playing extremely passive at this point. Cassia just scouting out this camp. Looks like she might be starting it. Tyrael is going back up to soak up against that. Dahaka, and I don't think they're going to be able to rotate into this quick enough. They are going to be able to clear it quite quickly, though, because of the fact that, ooh, that swap onto the Uther could have been potentially very dangerous. But the hook on the KT, he will get stunned. There is the suppression pulse from Arthas. The Phoenix is out from Kael'thas. There is the Cursed Bullet onto the Stitches. He is so low. He does spread the bomb to the Li Ming. Greymane is about to fall here. That is a reset for the Li Ming at this point, so she can get another combo out, and she will deal a decent amount of damage. But Stitches, Zombie Chris, just living through all of these engagements. Alright, we are going to have the tongue onto the Artanis, but he is actually going to be falling here. We do have the Sanctification from Tyrael coming out, but I feel like it might have been just a second too late there. And look at this, starting to snowball in the favor of better than yesterday. And this is what I was talking about. If you can start to get these picks and pull them apart, I definitely think that their comp works very well. Race-wise, they do not have a race against Team Happy Cloud. But I definitely think that if they keep landing these hooks, landing these tongues, getting the resets, they're definitely going to be able to capitalize on a lot of this. Cassia will go ahead and solo this camp, getting a little bit of help from the Li Ming. We're going to see an aggressive invade from Team Happy Club, trying to get onto this Immortal. They want to make sure that they get this again, so it continues to push, and they can get this game back into their favor. Meanwhile, though, better than yesterday is going to say, you know what? No, just go ahead and try and push into us, but we have almost 13s. We're going to go ahead and defend this, and you can either deal with that bottom camp, but eventually they're going to have to deal with that top camp themselves. Actually, Dahaka is all the way up there. There is the hook onto the Greymane. The Cursed Bullet does come out. The Lightning Ball is there onto many members. The D-Shield is there. The Lightning Ball spread to so many. They're so low at this point. Brightwing is going to need to heal up all these members, and this is what I was talking about. I wish they might have had a more bursty healer. That would have been able to keep them alive, because I've seen them hearthing a lot in this game on the side of Team Happy Cloud. They are going to go ahead and push back this camp. Meanwhile, in Mid, we are going to see this invade because I do see them, many of them on the camp, so they definitely aren't going to be trying to get a pick here because they have no vision on the rest of the team except for Li Ming. Okay. A little bit of damage put out from the Li Ming, but they're going to go back and just play it safe here. The blind hook comes out, hoping to maybe get someone. Dehaka might be spotted in mid by the minion, or then top by the minion waves. They do. They spotted in top by the minion waves. He does have burrow though, so he can come in at any second into one of these bushes here and behind. Expect him in this back one to go onto that KT, I feel. There is a swap onto, looks like the Cassia. Nope, Dehaka's going to be coming in. There is the pull from the Stitches onto the, gosh, Artanis, and there's the D-Shield, I believe? No. He had the invulnerable on him. I think it was just a cleanse, maybe. But they are getting pushed back at this point, and it looks like we are going to be having this first phase going over to Team Happy Cloud. Meanwhile, they're going to have to hearth back for mana and health on the side of... excuse me, Team Happy Cloud will be having to go back for mana and health. Better Than Yesterday will be getting the first phase of the Immortal. And they're going to go ahead and just race it down. With the way that... I guess they were trying to predict exactly where they would be going, and so... They did a really good job, and it looks like at this point, without their 13s, Team Happy Cloud are going to be struggling to really kind of take an engagement here. And this is about a 2-level lead. We do have a leave from Master Fish. I wonder if that's going to be addressed. Nope, he's right back in. Okay, cool. Nope, we have a pause. We're going to go to a quick AFK screen, and we'll be right back as the game comes back. All right, and we are back into the game. So strategical salt. The Immortal will be pushing up here. There is the hook onto the Kael'thas. There is a huge combo from Li Ming and the rest of the team onto him. That is the reset onto her. She will be able to get more poke damage out here, and look to see this fort definitely falling. With the Immortal still having such high shields, not high shields, but having a little bit of shields in that you know mage range. They're definitely going to be taking this keep gate, and if they get a couple picks, they could snowball this to a victory. But we never know. Dehaka does have to use it, since there is the hook onto the Greymane, and that is going to be a confirmed kill. Now we do have the Kael'thas coming back, and the Emerald Wind is there to push them back. We are going to have this gate falling down. And, oh, that Greymane, without him there, this is going to be very hard. But Kael'thas lands a Flame Strike on 4 members, and it chunks them so low. This is going to be a keep falling, and it's going to be another Kael'thas bomb just blowing up. They do get a Gorge onto one of the teammates. I did not see who. It's going to be the Tyrael. He does have Sanctification, so he can use his Aldruin's Might to get out. He throws it. He's good. Dehaka takes a Whirlwind and will be able to get away without a problem. Hook does come out, and it misses. But, phew! So talent tier down, literal exactly 3 levels at this point. The only thing that they can do at this, really, on the side of Team Happy Cloud is they want to go ahead, try and rotate around the map very safely, get some counter picks maybe once in a while if they can maybe implode onto collapse on this Dehaka, but I definitely don't see that happening. Mostly because of the fact that he has the global, he has his adaptation, as well as usually his stacks of essence as well, so he's got like 3 health bars. He's just too hard to kill at this point. And Uther has Divine Shield too, so if he rotates in, that shouldn't be a problem. Fishing Hook actually coming out from Stitches here. They definitely want to have that range. Excuse me, actually, yeah, it's Fishing Hook. Okay. Going to be coming out onto the Stitches. I'm wondering, they're just going to be taking this forward, I guess. There's really nothing that Team Happy Cloud can be doing. I'm trying to just think of how they can kind of start to get this in their favor, but with the 3-level lead at this point, it's just so hard to really start to bring the things back, to your team. Bottom lane is pushed in, so the catapults are going to be there. They can go ahead and capture this camp at this point. That will push up while the Immortal phase is happening, and that's what it looks like it's going to be. Looks like they're going to be just going ahead and cleaning up this top wave, trying to push it back as best as they can. Okay, and during this Immortal phase, we are going to see Team Happy Cloud trying to get onto this Immortal, burn it down as quickly as possible. They're going to go ahead and back off. They're going to be zoned away. The hook, the Fishing Hook, just coming out, trying to get that KT, maybe that Greymane. We do have Dehaka in the bush over here. He does get the drag onto the Greymane here. There is the swap. Nope. The Phoenix is there to zone a little bit. It is going to do a little bit of damage. The Artanis does get hooked here. There is the swap and the Curse Bullet out. We're going to have the blind from Artanis with the Sanctification and the D-Shield on him. Cassie will be confirming that kill. That will be an Artanis falling at that point. And at this point, with that bottom camp that I had pointed out that they got it, it's going to be pushing bottom, and that is currently on the core. Kael'thas is going back. The hook onto the Tyrael. Does he have the Eldruin's Might to get out? He's going to be stunned. He has the Eldruin's Might, and he gets out. All right. But with that, it just buys them so much time. This is going to be, these 3 catapults just going to be wiped away by Kael'thas, and this is going to be burned down so quickly by Better Than Yesterday, and extremely good control by them on this map. They definitely got to a certain spot in the game. They got that one very, very good team fight, and at that point they just had control of the game. They're not letting Team Happy Cloud get any sort of critical picks that help them start to snowball it back in their favor. They're just playing very, very tight at this point, and so it looks like with 16 just at the corner for Team Happy Cloud, this is going to be an Immortal approaching on even talent tier. This is the one that they have to take. If they can take this fight and win it, they can start to snowball this game back into their favor. If they fall, though, this could spell disaster for Team Happy Cloud, and we will be going into a 3rd match of the evening. We have this bush here. I'm wondering... Oh, the Stitches hook was too soon. The gate was still there. The zoning from the Phoenix and the Curse Bullet does come out. Slam does go off from the Stitches with the slam from the Immortal, and that will cause the gate to be falling very quickly. Kael'thas is going to get some of these... Oh my god. The double, just the stuns and the sanctification blinds are out from both teams. Cassie does have the Dia Shield on her. She is actually going to be falling. This Immortal will be taking the keep guaranteed, but they are going to be taking a couple kills here. That is also going to be the Stitches falling as well. Dahaka's so very low, so it looks like they're going to go ahead, get a couple picks here. They're going to turn around. They're going to clean up this Immortal, and that is 3 members down for almost 45 seconds. This is going to be... It's going to be hard for Team Happy Club to turn this around because of the fact that there's just so much on their core. The best thing they can do is they need to rotate, play extremely safe, close this level gap and they're doing it. You can see that the XP is slowly starting to go in their favor. This camp is going to be picked up for free, though, by Better Than Yesterday because the rotation will not be able to be made fast enough. But at this point, they can push up onto this fort. This late game fort is going to give them a significant amount of experience to get closer to that, closing that level gap. And Creepy Brightwing will throw out a bunch of bananas and it will end it. And looks like, though, on the side of Better Than Yesterday, they are going to be rotating around, playing extremely safe with this Uther and this Li Ming. They're going to go ahead, get these 2 camps, push up the lanes a little bit. And with that, Tyrael will be... Ooh, the Dahaka from behind, but Tyrael uses Eldrion's Might. Brightwing is coming up here, and it looks like we are going to have a smooth disengage between these 2 teams. Okay. With this camp being picked up, it should be getting close. They wanted, I think, to do with that hook. That hook was just so scary. Every time I hold my breath a little bit, I'm like, hey, here it comes. Okay, we are going to be having a rotation out of Team Happy Cloud. They're going to want to go ahead and clean up this top wave before it becomes too much pressure on their core. Better Than Yesterday will be going once again and picking up this camp at the last second, so that way it is pushing up with the wave as the Immortals spawn to most benefit them for this phase to kind of really force a rotation out of Team Happy Cloud. So Better Than Yesterday really having some good map control in this second game of the evening. So here we go. The blind hook does come out. It looks like they're just going to be trying to race this, and Better Than Yesterday, they are racing this way quicker. But we did see towards the end, though, there was a buttload of damage coming out from Team Happy Face. But without their 20s, they definitely need to play this part very safe. They get scouted out. There is the Polymorph instantly throws Stitches out of whack, but there's the Curse Bolt that does come out. There is a huge turn on the fight. There's a dash from the Artanis that does not actually finish, but they end up getting the kill onto the Cassian. That's a huge kill. Oh my god, Stitches is going to be falling too. Kael'thas is in the backline. He is going to be getting so low. There is no sanctification to keep him alive, so Kael'thas and Greymane and Brightwing. Oh my god. It was going so well for Team Happy Club, but it looks like Better Than Yesterday will be collecting this Immortal, and it will be stomping its way to the core. Actually, no, they're going to go ahead and say, screw it. We're going to go ahead and use these... Oh, no, Tyrael, don't die. Your KDA! Tyrael will be following these catapults on Encore will guarantee the second game going over to Better Than Yesterday, and we are going into a third game. Alright, and welcome back to our third game of the evening. We are going into Braxis Holdout. And let me just tell you this, I am ecstatic for this game. These games have just been so phenomenal between both of these teams. Also, shout out to Zombie Chris's brother, because he said he's watching and you said I'm a good caster, so thank you so much to Zombie Chris's brother. Stitches is going to be banned out here on the side of Team Happy Cloud because they do not want to deal with that Gorge ever again. Genji's going to be banned out here on the side of Better Than Yesterday, and they are cruising through this draft. They're saying, you know what? We know what we want, and this is what we're going to get. Dahaka's... Oh my god, I can't even draft this fast. Dahaka's going to be picked up on the side of Team Happy Cloud. Can you guys chill? Dang! What are you guys doing? So Ariel Zarya is going to be picked up as well. And I'm curious how that's just going to... You can synergize those so well. And, oh... Wait a minute. I think on the side of like Team Happy Cloud, they were just like, hold on, pump the brakes. Ariel Zarya, that's a Cho'Gall comp. Like 100% that's Cho'Gall. Unless they were going it themselves. Because, come on, I mean, I don't ask for much. But I'm hoping that every time I cast, I get to see a Cho'Gall. I had one on Tuesday night. I'm hoping for one tonight. Don't let me down, guys. All right, but really for the next pickup, a good pickup here would be something like the Greymane or Avala. Gul'dan is a priority in my opinion on this map because of the wave clear that he provides, and as well as the damage over time that he can provide to the backline. Boom, nailed it. I got the Gul'dan at least. I didn't think they would pick up a double assassin. It's possible, but the Malfurion Dahaka Gul'dan is so strong on this map. Dahaka provides such good wave clear. Gul'dan has such good wave clear. Please go Cho'Gall. Please do it. Yep. You have to ban it out. Because even if you don't, he's just he's a big threat, especially on a map like this where you basically have to I just keep saying the same word. This map is very team fight centric, and I'm just getting so excited about like possibly predicting people's drafts. But I mean, you'd have a backup, so I wouldn't be too surprised to see something like an Arthas Greymane being picked up here. That's a pretty good combo. Can I get a shout out to T-Revs? T-Revs! I don't know who T-Revs is, but shout outs to you, dude. So at this point with a Cho'Gall being banned out, I'm thinking it's going to be, you're going to want that Greymane. He does provide the damage and the dive that you're going to want, as well as he's a strong solo laner. But let's not forget about Alarak either. Alarak is pretty strong himself. It's going to be Vala, so she pairs well with the Ariel. That's actually better. And the Muradin, actually. Huh. I wonder why they're going to go Muradin. He provides pretty good utility in a fight with the healing static, and yeah, he does provide pretty good. I just think like I feel like Tyrael would be a little bit stronger here, unless they have some sort of different build that they're going to go with Muradin. I saw a weird one on Tuesday, so I'm wondering if maybe they're doing that. That's just an odd thing. Because Zarya is already pretty strong, and I'm not expecting them to solo Zarya, but like, it's just the Muradin's throwing me off a little bit here. Johanna and Tassadar. So they're really, really focusing around having that Gul'dan doing all of their damage, and then utilizing the Johanna and the Dahaka to displace the members with their CC and the roots from Malfurion. So they definitely have an interesting fight on the side of Team Happy Cloud, but definitely better than yesterday. They're going to want like a melee assassin here. And I'm just surprised that Greymane's been let through this far. I mean, it's no Cho'Gall, but awesome. A Thrall match. Because I honestly, I haven't seen... I think there was like one HGC game last weekend where Thrall was picked up in an A, if I'm not mistaken. But, I don't know. I'm very I'm not sure about Thrall yet. The rework seems very, very good, and I've seen him do great numbers. Me personally, I played with him a couple times. I'm just not seeing it. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. That's always the possibility too. I tried a different bunch of builds. It's just he doesn't feel the same. Maybe playing him to 10 before is a little bit too much, and I'm just stuck in that way. But on the left-hand side, we are going to have Better Than Yesterday with Moran on Vala, the 24 Sun on Zarya, Zombie Chris on Muradin, Masterfish on Thrall, and Arik on Ariel. On the right-hand side, we are going to have Team Happy Cloud with Lumpty Dumpty on Gul'dan, Discerning on Malfurion, Ferret on Dahaka, Nightcaster on Tassadar, and R275 Delta on Johanna. Luckily this time I had enough time to actually say all the names, so I didn't have to rush through that R275 Delta. So with this, they actually have some pretty strong solo laners. I'm curious to see what the laning matchups are going to be in this game. I would like to think that it's going to be the Ariel and
Facility powering up.
Vala who are going to be together, but you never know. I think you're going to be running the Thrall solo lane. That seems to make sense to me. Yep, okay. I was trying to look away from the mini-map. But we're going to have, okay, Thrall solo laning against the Dahaka.
Systems online in 10 seconds.
Okay. All right, let's take a quick peek at some of these talents before we get into the game. We are going to have the Echo. Excuse me.
1.
The Echo of the Elements from
Facility
Thrall.
online.
We are going to have Tissue Regeneration from the Dahaka. Joanna is going for the Regeneration Master. Gul'dan is going to be going Fell Flame, not Corruption stacks. This is going to be an interesting game. Third game, Chair League. Here we go. In this best of 3, on the left, we have, once again, Better Than Yesterday. And on the right, we have Team Happy Cloud. And, oh, poor Dahaka, he doesn't have a Happy Cloud. I feel like they've drafted someone every match that can't get a Happy Cloud. Alright, and with that, Thrall is going to be solo laning currently in top by himself. The hook, excuse me, the drag from Dahaka misses, but he does burrow right up the top, doesn't really miss any of that soak, and gets kind of onto that Thrall a little bit. We will be checking back into that in a little bit. I just want to make sure we focus on this big fight in bottom. And the big thing that I'm wondering if it's going to start to happen throughout the game, if there's going to be globe deny against the Joanna, because she is going for those for that globe talent at level 1 for the extra more tankiness. So denying globes to her throughout the game is definitely going to be something that you'd want to take advantage of on the side of Better Than Yesterday. And just denying that just makes the quest last longer, and you know she doesn't get the full benefit of it till later in the game, so it becomes easier to pick her. But definitely also, you know, look to see on the same side of Team Happy Cloud, they're going to be trying to go ahead and get as many of those globes because they want that Joanna to be super, super tanky. And at this point, we're just seeing a lot of teams just throwing out, not throwing out their abilities, but they're definitely just pushing out the damage, trying to force Better Than Yesterday or Team Happy Face, you know, into each other's gates. And it seems like at this point, it's been evenly matched up. Not a lot of mana burn on both teams. Everyone's staying pretty healthy on HP-wise. Murden, okay, he took the Stormbolt at level 1. And I don't know if this is slowly making its way back or is becoming meta again or something. But that is... Oh, excuse me with my top thing. That is very interesting to see potentially Shotgun Murden again. Alright, this first beacon, by the way, it was captured in top by Dahaka. Vala is getting extremely low here. She is able to heal from the Ariel, but they need to group up for this. Murden is getting on to this point. Vala is coming back in. She did have to go tap the well. There is a zoning route from the Malfurion to make sure the team can't get in here, but this Joanna is soaking up so much damage. She does have Indestructible, I believe, still? Yep. So Ariel so low on health. The members of Better Than Yesterday are just falling so low, and they definitely need to go back, and I think most of them have their wells. Okay, Ariel has it active. I know Vala just used hers, so it's another 2 minutes without it. Okay, Murden is going to have to utilize his jump to get out of here. We are going to see extremely good zoning from Team Happy Cloud, and definitely Better Than Yesterday. I think they just need to leave a couple people in lane, soak up the experience, go back, get full. They need to get... but at the same time, they're just wasting... They'd be wasting time, so I honestly don't know how you get onto this. The Zarya is too low, Ariel's not getting enough charge because Vala's not being able to get damage out, because that Gul'dan is just throwing out so much spell damage that they can't get in there and actually charge up the Ariel. So at this point, we are going to have a 100% Zerg wave on the side of Team Happy Cloud. And this is going to be rolling up bottom. And okay, Zarya did have the well finally, so she did get healed back up. We're going to see Zarya getting stunned out a little bit here. She will get stuck in the roots, and she will actually be following in this first engagement of the Zerg wave. And so with that, there actually is more there's more pressure that Team Happy Cloud can apply at this point because of the fact that they are down a hero on the side of Better Than Yesterday, excuse me. So that is going to be a first fort falling within the first 4 minutes of the game. There is a detainment strike just to push them back a little bit here. Should not be too much of an issue. They're not really going to get too much with the rest of the Zerg wave. Potentially some cannon shots out, maybe some damage onto these cannons. I don't expect them to be taking the whole gate though. Alrighty, in top lane we are going to have that Dahaka and Thrall forever match happening. I guess while we're having this disengagement, I do... Actually, let's just take a quick peek. Is Murden hopping in here? He's going to go ahead, place down that Thunderbolt, and they are going to confirm the kill onto Gul'dan. Joanna is getting zoned out here. There is the vision from the Tesla just to make sure who's coming in, and this Joanna is going to go ahead and say, I'm going to get a... No, I'm not. They tried to help her out and push her into that, but that last regen globe she did try and get. In the meantime, while we are seeing some of these rotations and people going back for mana, take a quick peek at some of these questing talents. Looks like we have Thrall's level 1 is complete. Zarya's level 1 is complete. Thrall needs 6 more stacks. Make sure you can't miss. By the way, I just want to point out, Masterfish, that's the best Thrall combo, skin-wise. That's always what I run because it's the best color combination. It synergizes so well. All right. Tassadar will be finishing up his level 1 talent. He's about halfway through. Dahaka's about halfway through Tish Regeneration. Gul'dan is already done with his Fell Flame. And with Dahaka being a slower hero, it is going to be a little bit easier for Thrall to get those 4 more... He needs 7, I believe, so he needs to get 4 more stacks. Excuse me, sorry. 5 more stacks off of Dahaka on his Frostwolf. We are going to have this camp being pushed into the lane currently from Team Happy Cloud. And at that point, we're just going to see Better Than Yesterday really just trying to play safe. You know, they don't want to lose too much health here, but Gul'dan is just throwing out so much with those Fell Flames. Every second, he's just a Fell Flame, Fell Flame, Fell Flame. And it's starting to show. Ariel is so low. She is getting a lot of healing from that Zarya that just... The damage right there was so well put out. We're actually going to have this Thrall rotating in a little bit too aggressively. And he's going to get blasted away into the Nether. But we are going to have the counter engage coming in from Better Than Yesterday onto the Joanna. She does pop her unstoppable. She can just walk away from this. Sorry, we'll get a couple of the little bullets out and it will not be too big of an issue.
Like the beacons are reactivating.
Let's just quickly take a peek at... So she's, I think it's 25? It's 30, actually, excuse me. So she's just above halfway, and we're about 7 minutes in. So it's doing pretty good. And honestly, they've got their 10s. We have the shield from Joanna, the Horrify from Gul'dan, Force Wall from Tassadar. I was going to say, what else do you expect besides Tranquility from Malfurion? And the adaptation, yep, from the Dahaka. I think I might have said last game adaptation, but they might have had isolation. I'll have to check that out. He does actually already pop it, trying to make sure that he does not die here against this 4-man in bottom lane. But at the same time, you know, in top they're going to say, you take our fort, we take yours. Because they what you want to do at this point is you want to push up as far as you can in your Zerg wave. So Better Than Yesterday, if they get 100% Zerg charge, this Zerg is going to go in this bottom lane, so they want to make as much room for that as possible. But at the same time, Team Happy Cloud is going to have the exact same response, but they're going to do it just a little bit quicker. So they're going to start getting on these points. Dahaka is getting a little bit harassed here, but he should be able to get out of this without a problem. The grab? Okay. Unfortunately, there was no follow-up, so they could not get onto him. Did he take Skullcracker? He did. Okay. The little mini stuns of 7. The wave from Gul'dan just mitigated at the last second. But the Horrify puts him right back in, and Murden is going to be silenced. This Murden takes so much damage, and he's already back in, and there is... Oh my god. I was just looking at his health, and it went down to the NC bit, then it went back up, and then he just ran back in there, and there's the Force Wall trying to delay them, and at this point, this is potentially going to be a full charge for Better Than Yesterday. Sorry, I keep stuttering on the names, just it's been a long day for me. It's already 11 o'clock. So, we are getting into the pushing phase, or the second Zerg wave here. We're going to see Thrall rotating into top. Going to go ahead, push up that wave once he captures this beacon. Dahaka did try and burrow down to go ahead and capture this to delay a little bit. Murden will get the stun. This should be a dead Lizard King, though. He's trying to get the kill onto the Ariel. There is the Detainment Strike. He is going to be falling. There is these zoning from the Zarya, which will at least get this Thrall into this fight currently. Tassadar is so low. I just want to check this really quick. Thrall did finish his Frostwolf talent. And this is currently charging on the side of Better Than Yesterday. They are going to chase down this Joanna, whip her into the wall, and she will be falling. I was about to say, and this is maybe just silver things, I was like, just go for boss. You've got them pushed in. But, you know, there are better rotations that you can make. They're going to go ahead and get this camp. It's going to run with the Zerg wave. And when I said that there's better choices, getting that camp is extremely strong. Even though it's just a small camp like that, they're going to deny this gold first too. Pushing with the camp, they would have spent more time on the boss, and this wave would have been cleared out by the Gul'dan so much quicker. But since they're here, they're up front and being extremely aggressive. Oh, that must have been a misclick on the side of Malfurion. He used his Twilight Dream, and this lets a 90-second cooldown. The Earthquake is out from Thrall, and it's on 5 members currently, and it's every time it procs, there's a huge Horrify, puts the Ariel out. There's another proc from the Frostwolf. Looks like Dahaka just finished his Tissue Regeneration quest, but that is him going to be falling. There is the zoning from the Zarya. There is the lockdown onto the Gul'dan, and this looks like it could potentially be a death march towards the core with this. It's not a huge Zerg wave, but they have 2 dead, and it looks like they do want to, yes, confirm this as a win. Better Than Yesterday wants to win this game and end it right now, but Joanna is cutting them around a little bit here with her Indestructible. So with that, the Dahaka will be up right now, and Gul'dan will be up in 5 seconds, and I don't think they can take this at this point. They're going to have to go ahead, they're going to have to disengage, they're going to have to try and get into their core on the next Zerg push. But at the same time, there should be 16 achieved on both ends for both teams by the next Zerg wave. So what I would assume we're going to see is a potential power shift. Dahaka, I'm forgetting. Is Dahaka's armor reduction talent at 13 or 16? This is what I did the same thing earlier with Criterize. I said Criterize is at 13, but it's actually at 16. So I can't remember, but if he skipped that, that's kind of an important talent, because at 16, if it is at 16, then it's great, because you take that, you get the armor reduction on the enemy team, and it's just so strong, because you can you can melt tanks at that point. You get a tongue onto a tank, you pull them out of position, and even then just like locking down like basic heroes is extremely strong as well. So we're just going to see some camp rotations from both teams. We're going to go ahead, pick these up. Tassadar will give a little bit of vision to make sure that they are not on this K4EO. It's actually just the name of it right there. I think, isn't the boss named after a... There's a bunch of like StarCraft X Pro like references all over this map. I never got into it, but I just know that there's like a ton. And that's actually... This is the map where they hinted... where they have the Easter egg for Samuro in one of the video game boxes up in the top left corner. Fun little trivia for you while we have this deep pushing of pretty much both lanes at this point. They're going to go ahead, get these camps, and then just push them back right away. There is the tongue from Dahaka. There is going to be the explosion zone. There is a huge Horrify as well as the Earthquake from Thrall, which is slowing down many of the members, proccing his healing at the same time. Better Than Yesterday really wants to hit this fight. The Force Wall does come out, does zone out 4 of the members of the team. There is this huge just collapse upon the Dahaka, but there's so much damage going out of the Murden. He will let his trait proc, and it will slowly start to heal him back up. Ariel is about halfway through her Faith Bar, or Hope Bar, and there's going to be another kill onto the Tassadar. And then Murden just Goomba stomping that Joanna, and this looks like it is going to be the core march that we were talking about a couple seconds ago. So the power strike that I talked about ended up only affecting one team, unfortunately, but with that we will have Better Than Yesterday winning the game. Okay, so Lord Mudkip, thank you so much. It is 13, so I thought it was at 13. It's just weird that you wouldn't take that talent at 13. The armor reduction's so strong.